This is an extract from the Lydall Coronavirus Daily podcast by the Evening Standard and hosted by me, David Marsland. To hear the whole thing, search for it on your podcast provider. The Evening Standard's discovered thousands of Londoners are missing urgent cancer checks because of the coronavirus lockdown. A study in conjunction with Macmillan Cancer Support and the Breast Cancer Now charities has shown the number of people seeking a 2-week hospital referral in May was down 53% on the same time last year. The figures for those starting life-saving or extending treatments is also down. That's by 35%. Our editorial columns concerned COVID-19 will claim more victims than just those infected by the virus itself.
These worrying figures are another indication of the potentially catastrophic, but until now largely overlooked, consequences of the coronavirus lockdown. Our research shows, for example, that there has been a 50% drop in London patients being sent for examination for fast-spreading melanoma and a 47% drop in breast cancer checks, which equates to 3,000 fewer women having suspicious lumps examined. All this is deeply troubling and indicates that lives that might have been saved will instead be lost, depriving children of parents and many others of loved ones unnecessarily.
Our health editor Ross Lydall is with me now. Ross, some of the figures you've uncovered on cancer care and treatment are astonishing. Is the lockdown entirely to blame for what's happening?
Yes, these figures are a direct result of the lockdown and of patients' fear of coronavirus, either of contracting it or of feeling that they've been a burden to the NHS or don't want to be a burden, so are staying away from their GP and therefore not getting referred to hospital for these cancer checks.
But this is genuinely putting people's lives at risk.
Yes. What is well known is that if you have cancer, the longer you wait to be treated, the worse the cancer gets. So that's the basic thing. The second thing to say is that only about 7% of people who may have suspected cancer are actually found subsequently to have cancer. So it's a small proportion of the number who would normally get checked. But there are concerns that some people will be affected by this, particularly those who have faster acting cancers than others, such as some prostate cancers are particularly fast growing, pancreatic cancer is particularly aggressive, and similarly for some breast cancers.
And this is why campaigners are worried that cancer has become the forgotten C in the COVID-19 pandemic.
Their point really is that while the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, is busy encouraging us all to go and eat out, they're saying actually a far more meaningful thing would be to make sure that the NHS has as much help as possible to get all these checks going again. Because not only are patients frightened to go and get themselves checked, many investigations for cancer involve a camera going down your throat or into other areas, shall we say, and it's a difficult and also potentially dangerous procedure at present because of the risk of coronavirus being spread between patients and staff. So really there has to be efforts made to increase the diagnostic test again as safely as possible and as quickly as possible, and also to tackle the backlog, because what's happened really since March is that you've got thousands who would normally be seen each month. The numbers are stacking up month after month after month. These figures are just for May, but we're obviously now in July, and there's no sign that things are getting substantially better as we speak. And it's not only the case that patients are not going for checks, we also know too from these figures that actually the number of surgeries or treatments are also down as well once people are actually diagnosed with cancer.
Search for the Lydall Coronavirus Daily on any podcast provider to hear more from the podcast.